From the land of conjurers, flying through the internet to your device like a UAP, hauntingly unexplained and downright weird, this is the witching hours, and we are ready to take off in the flash of an eye. Good evening to one and all, wherever and whenever you're listening to this program. I am Giant of the Frost, and joining me, as always, is the medium Jenny Lee. How are you doing, Jenny?
I think I'm all right.
And as you can see, we also have another co-host tonight. Welcome to the show, Alyson, the Priestess of Wonderland. How are you doing, Alyson?
Hey, how are you guys? I'm good.
All right, you guys ready to get weird?
You introduced her right when the video had been at 555.
555.
Yeah.
All right, so welcome in, everybody. This is our 2025 prediction show.
Yay!
Yeah, this is what is this the third year we've done the prediction show?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Third year of doing the prediction show. So 2025.
Oh.
Yeah, something like that. So first show of the new year. This is we're moving right along. This is episode 87.
Wow.
I know we're gonna hit 100 this year.
Wow.
So that'll be a big milestone in 2025, the 100th show. I should probably start planning that. We should probably figure out who we want to have on the.
Yes, we should.
I just don't want to like plan a 100th show and then one gets canceled and then our big 100th episode ends up being the 99.
We would just have to make sure there was an episode.
Just do like a hangout session on a Monday night or something. Yeah.
Me, you, and Alyson probably. We have a hype train happening on Twitch right now.
A hype train. Holy
an Amber resubbed. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Keisha Mama. Thank you, Amber, for the subs. Thank you. So yeah, we're ready to get 2025 started. A happy New Year to all of you out there, and I hope you guys had a happy holidays, a Merry Christmas, and all that. We're off to an interesting start for this year already, and I don't know if what's been kind of circling the news articles and the news sphere is any prediction, I guess, of and of what's going to happen this year. Hopefully not. Hopefully there's better things around the corner. Yeah. Well, I'm not hearing good. This doesn't sound positive from the gallery here. So I just got done watching Notre Dame and Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, which was in the news for bad reasons. But I just finished the game. And my Notre Dame Fighting Irish have won, so
you're off to
another week invested. Yeah. Another week invested in the college football playoffs. So, I was like last minute, like the game was over, and I was like, it was like time to get the studio fired up. So I'm coming in right off the tail end of that. So, anyhow.
Ohio State won the Rose Bowl, they said.
Ohio State won the Rose Bowl. Texas won. And Ohio State won. Ohio State and Penn State won. So Notre Dame plays Penn State next week, and Ohio State plays Texas.
Thank you, Keisha.
Yeah. We don't talk a lot about sports on here, but it's worth noting. Yeah.
We have weird news for this week.
We do have weird news. Let us get into it. Oh, you know what? I didn't. I had to open up a whole bunch of different stuff today, so I didn't get the weird news. I didn't get the weird news opened up, so I have to pop it open here. And here it is.
It exists.
Okay. It exists. It's right here. All right. 2 Oregon men die from exposure in a forest after they went out to look for Sasquatch.
I heard about this.
2 Oregon men were found dead in a Washington state forest after they failed to return from a trip to look for Sasquatch. Authorities said Saturday, 59-year-old and 37-year-old who appeared to have died from exposure. The Skamania County Sheriff's Office said the weather and the men's lack of preparedness led the office to draw that conclusion.
Man.
The 2 men were found in a heavily wooded area of Gifford-Pinchot National Forest, which is about 150 miles northeast of Portland. A family member reported them missing around 1 a.m. on Christmas Day. after they failed to return from a Christmas Eve outing.
Man.
Oh, that's sad. Yeah. 60 volunteer search and rescue personnel helped in the 3-day search, including K9, drone, and ground teams. The
And
Coast
then
Guard
it took
used.
3 days for them to find them. Goodness
Well, you get out
gracious.
there in the woods, out there in the Pacific Northwest, and
I
yeah,
know, but that's just awful for their families.
I know.
On
Especially having to deal with all
Christmas.
that on Christmas, all their
God,
Christmas.
Lord.
Yeah, they used infrared technology. Authorities used camera recordings to locate the vehicle used by the pair. So anyway, so sad
Well,
news.
I hope they got to
Sad
at
news.
least have some kind of experience with Bigfoot for all that.
Well, it just goes to show you that, I mean, kind of, I debated putting that one in there, but the reason I did is because, these things that people do when we have people on the show, and we're going to have someone this month, actually, the last show of January is going to be someone coming on who's a Bigfoot researcher.
Yeah.
And so, it's always important to remember that people who do these things, like, it's not just, people are going out there. It's hard work. Like all the people who go out and do paranormal investigation. It's a lot of hours. It's a lot of work. And, especially for people who are going out into the wilderness, looking for Bigfoot and stuff like that. It's not, it's not something to take lightly. It's not
Yeah.
something you can just go, for sure.
Especially in the
Nuclear.
winter time.
Yeah, yeah, I know, right? Nuclear power plants report massive uptick in drone sightings. The number of drone flyovers of nuclear plants in 2024 nearly doubled in just 1 week from December 10th to December 17th.
Those damn drones again.
According to data provided by the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, or the NRC. Between January 1st and December 10th, nuclear facility licensees reported a total of 15 drone events. And then, of course, there was a rash of sightings. There was 12 just from 2019 to 2023. So America's most powerful nuclear plant, the Palo Verde nuclear generating station near in Arizona, experienced a rash of drone overflights. So essentially, there's what NRC are describing a dronapalooza of drones over nuclear facilities.
That's one of Alyson's favorite postscripts to add to words.
It's funny because I'm not talking about retrograde-a-palooza this time. We'll talk about dronapalooza instead.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah. So we have that going on. And then, of course, today, in other news I really didn't want to talk about, but a man died in a Cybertruck explosion outside a Las Vegas Trump hotel, and he was ID'd as an Army Special Ops soldier. Decorated U.S. Army soldier has been identified as a person who was killed by an explosion in a Tesla Cybertruck outside the entrance of the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. 2 senior law enforcement officials said Thursday the vehicle, which erupted into flames early Wednesday outside the Trump International Hotel, was rented to Matthew Allen Levelsberger, a master sergeant in the U.S. Army's Elite Special Forces units.
So is that something was wrong with the Cybertruck, or that he blew it up on purpose?
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to talk because you were at work all day today. But yeah, somebody blew up a Cybertruck in front of the Trump Hotel. It was loaded with explosives and fireworks.
Okay, I see.
Both. Well, I'll get into it. An Army, essentially, he was on approved leave and was assigned to U.S. Army Special Operations Command. Federal law enforcement agents began searching his residence in Colorado Springs, connected with the case, where expected to be on site for several hours. The incident is being investigated as a possible terrorist attack. A motive is yet to be established, but the blast came just hours after a driver in a rented pickup truck plowed into New Year's Eve revelers on Bourbon Street in New Orleans, killing at least 14 and injuring more than 30 others before being shot dead by police. A flag of the Islamic State terrorist group was found in the back of the vehicle. The driver in New Orleans was identified Wednesday as a U.S. Army veteran from Texas, even though officials said he has acted as a lone wolf. Both of them were actually stationed, from another article I read, they were both at one point stationed at Fort Bragg.
Wow.
So
we're doing this again, huh?
Well, that's what I'm saying. The 2025, we could have started off a better way, I guess. And then to finish it off, well, we got a couple more here. So number 4 is NASA's Parker Solar Probe phones home after surviving historic close.
Yeah, how did that go?
So 2 days after historic Christmas Eve sun flyby that flew closer to the star than any spacecraft in history, taking the Cars-sized spacecraft nearly a tenth as close to the sun than Mercury, the Parker Solar Probe phoned home for the first time since its solar encounter. The space probe sent a simple yet highly anticipated beacon tone to Earth just before midnight on the 26th of December. Scientists on Earth were out of contact with the solar probe since December 20th. So it's in good health. Good health. It's operating normally, and the spacecraft is programmed to send home a more detailed status update on New Year's Day. So yesterday, right? January 1st. It's only then that scientists will know whether the spacecraft indeed collected the expected observations of the sun from the flyby. So there was, as far as we can tell, it was successful.
I was just imagining like the phone home tone as being like
Yeah.
the old school dial-up modem. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, I made it.
Yeah. 6:53 a.m. on Christmas Eve, the spacecraft accomplished what it was designed for. It swooped to within 3.8 million miles of the sun's surface, and it did so while traveling at a whopping 430,000 miles an hour, breaking its own personal best as the fastest object ever built by humanity.
Wow. That's still a long way away from the surface of the sun.
Do you want to get a little closer?
I don't think we can. I guess that just shows how hot it really is, if that's the closest we could get it.
Yeah, right?
It was millions of miles away.
Millions of miles away. And it's still, yeah.
Woo. Toasty.
Yeah.
Yikes.
I know, right? And the last one tonight, this is for everyone in chat tonight. This news story: haunted hotel in Bollinger looking for a new owner. The 1886 two-story hotel is looking for new owners to take over the haunted attraction. The activity never stops at the old Park Hotel. From full body apparitions to cold spots, the century-old hotel is a hot spot for the paranormal. For nearly 9 years, Connie and Dan LaFave have operated this paranormal venue from hosting tours and overnight stays to being featured on the Travel Channel. We have had many different fascinating people during this time from all over the U.S. and even from England and Australia come visit and also film here, Dan said. We brought life back into this old building. The building venue has been featured in so many places. On December 7th, he took to social media saying they were officially entertaining buying purchase offers.
What hotel is it?
This is the Old Park Hotel. The Old Park Hotel.
Which is where?
I had it in the story, but I'm not seeing it now. Hold on 1 second.
It's a hot spot for cold spots?
Texas. Bollinger, Texas.
Texas. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a hot spot for cold spots. No owner would be able to carry on business as normal from here on out as to transition to any bookings already made for 2025. The couple said they have received a couple of offers. Soon we will determine who the new owners of this great place will be. So if you are interested in buying your own spooky hotel,
get your money's together.
You can email the Old Park Hotel at theoldparkhotel@yahoo.com. We do love the building and everything it has per its rich history and its paranormal. Connie and I are ready to transition to something else in our lives, and it is hard to sell, but we both have decided to do this for them. So
there you go.
Hey, if you're looking at a new change of scenery for 2025.
Yeah, somebody buy it, and we'll do our teamwork takeover there in 2020.
Yeah, we can do it there next year. Yeah.
I don't know if one of the paranormal, or they do paranormal investigations sometimes, are in Texas, but I feel like I hear a lot about Texas paranormal stuff. Other than you hear like about New England a lot, but I also hear about Texas a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Texas, well, you got the ghost towns and stuff in Texas, which we always said we wanted to do one when we lived there, and we never did. Then of course you have like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and all that, but that actually happened in Wisconsin.
Oh,
so if you would, I think the most evil place on earth is probably Wisconsin.
Wisconsin Chainsaw Massacre. It doesn't have the same ring to
Yeah, exactly. But when you talk about who was it, Wayne Gacy, Jeffrey Dahmer, and Ed Gein, all from Wisconsin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I don't know what's in the water up there.
Might be the overbearing German mothers. I don't know.
German. Yeah.
I mean, it's my family too, people. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But yeah, Wisconsin, I guess that's I guess every state's got to be good at something.
But it's a party. It's always a party.
It's just too cold. Is that?
I don't know. All right.
All right.
That was the weird news.
That was the weird news. We've managed to outrage everybody from Germany and Wisconsin with that one. So off we go.
And now it's time for the moon phase information for January 2025 with your host, Alyson Wonderland. Tell us something good, Alyson.
I know, right?
I'm gonna try. I mean, there's a lot happening this year, and there's not much going on in. I think compared to this year, there's not that much going on in January.
Okay, good. We'll take it.
So, well, first of all, okay, we're in Capricorn season. We're in the Capricorn moon cycle because we had our new moon on December 30th. And Capricorn energy is all about setting foundations so that you can succeed. A Capricorn new moon is paired with a Cancer full moon to help balance out that like success and drive and achievement with self-care, nurturing, mothering yourself. So balancing these two things, what are the things that you can do to support yourself to sustain your goals and your intentions for the year? Which is a really wonderful combination. So I think that we should take the pressure off of setting intentions and goals and laying the groundwork instead, like not putting pressure on yourself because it is winter. We're supposed to be integrating everything from last year. What did you learn? What are the obstacles that you overcome or that you overcame? And finding that motivation and that drive. I think Capricorn is that like drive to do the thing.
It's the goat trying to get up the mountain.
Yes. And finding where that strength is, finding where that confidence is. It's not necessarily acting on anything, especially because we still have Mars retrograde and because it's still winter. So let winter be winter, hibernate until spring. And that's when you really want to start taking action on things. But that the Mars retrograde is really like feeling stuck in the mud, like you can't move forward with things. And so I know I've been harping about Mars retrograde in Leo since I found out about it last year. And there was one thing that comes up in January that I wasn't aware of until now, because I've been complaining about the Leo-ness of it. Is like, why? Because people with Leo sun, moon, or rising are going to feel the Mars in Leo retrograde more profoundly. But it's actually on January 6th, it's actually going back into Cancer a little bit, which I'm excited for the relief of that, taking the pressure off of the Leo-ness of it. But Cancer is the crab. Cancer is moody and Cancer is crabby, and Mars is angry and active.
Oh, this sounds fun.
So very irritating. So while I'm like, yay, take pressure off Leo, now it's like everybody's gonna be grumpy.
Mhm.
Having the like winter grumps.
Mm.
So again, take the pressure off of the resolution, and I think just like let yourself figure it out. Like if you're grumpy, figure out why. What is irritating you? How can you make yourself feel better? How you can support yourself? How you can sustain yourself? Because I think the rest of this year we're going to have all of these different things coming at us, and we need to know how do we calm ourselves down? How do we not react? How do we not fight? How do we not get so low that we can't get up again? Like how are we going to come back to center and come back to ourselves? So the focus is like really focusing on the foundation, not necessarily at the like end goal.
Yeah.
The like the groundwork, the bottom layer, the the bottom layer of the mountain that you're climbing.
When I looked at my seasonal planning for this year and the Just Phase Moon Planner, I was like, I don't even know what I want this year. So
Yeah.
this is gonna have to wait.
I think that Mars retrograde is like there's no like when you feel stuck, you're like, how do I move forward? You just it's like hard to envision, it's hard to see.
I can't see it at all. So I was just which
Yeah.
I of course Leo, so that probably makes the sense
Yeah.
why. So I'm just gonna let it slide until something makes some sense. We
Well,
had
it
some
kinda
questions
it
for
kinda
you.
makes sense because, not to give too much away, but that is something I think that might be kind of a theme, that I've seen for 2025 is uncertainty.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
What was
So
the question?
there was some questions.
Yeah.
What about the meteor shower this week, or do you know anything about the planetary alignment around the 20th?
I don't know anything about the meteor shower. I mean, meteor showers, I think we do usually come across like regularly, like I don't know which one this is, but usually around the same time of year. And the same thing with the planetary alignment. That does happen every winter. When you can see them all in a row.
Do you know if it has any significance for us?
Probably. They're all holding hands.
And then there's another question here Luce was thinking about. No one celebrated this time as New Year until the Romans. Does that have any effect on the zodiacs?
I mean, I really think that we shouldn't celebrate New Year until
Springtime, yeah, which is what KC was saying too. Starting to look at it through a witch's lens.
Yeah.
You can't plant things to grow in the dead of winter.
So did the Romans create the Gregorian calendar?
Yes. Yeah. They've had a couple different calendars. But so that would change a months, but I don't know if it would necessarily change the zodiac, right? Because the zodiac is the time of the year and where the stars are aligned.
Yeah.
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 But it wouldn't necessarily be like January or February or whatever. And I also agree about starting the new year probably at the spring solstice.
Like we talk about a lot every year. It's like that Aries time is really the time that really gets you fired up to start something. So that would make more sense. Yeah.
Plus, we talked about this when we were doing like our Christmas shows, and we were, talking a lot about the shamanistic side of winter celebrations. But like so much of it, is like you have the birth, and then you have like, the harvest, and then you have all these seasons, and then winter is the death. So it's like, why is the death should be at the end of the year, right? Like not at the beginning.
Right.
Of the year.
Yeah.
But we got to find things to celebrate in the dead time of year, or else it gets really depressing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why there's so many celebrations.
Well, you saw the winter solstice. The days are getting longer.
Yeah.
They don't seem like it yet, but I'm very much stoked about that because these early days have been dragging me down. I mean, it's fine. I mean, I'm a night person anyway, but it's like it's just been like I have no clue what time it is yet and how long I've changed clocks. And it's like, like tonight, it was like, I'm watching the game and it's like dark outside and it's like it's time to do the witching hours, but it's like 5:30. I'm like, no, I still got like 3 hours or whatever. But yeah.
Keisha had a prediction about the planets aligning. It's probably going to align and F stuff up. Thanks, Keisha.
It could align and make stuff great, right? It could align.
Yeah,
all kinds of cool stuff will happen.
It could. So what else is going on for January?
Well, I'm hoping that by January 8th, so Mars starts to go back into Cancer January 6th, and which is not necessarily a time that we want people to be grumpy, extra grumpy.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping by January 8th, Mercury is moving into Capricorn. So Mercury is the planet of communication, and it's really sticking out at me that like Mercury, Mars, and Venus are the closest to us, and they're always kind of around the same sign or close to the same sign and as the sun, and we're all kind of in this thing together. But Mars is doing all this weird shit, like, and Venus is doing weird things later. It's going retrograde in February, and it's just Mercury seems to be like holding our hand. And so Mercury moving into Capricorn, I'm hoping is going to help solidify that foundation of what maybe finding clarity of what your intentions are, what your goals are. Having that Mercury in Capricorn, Sun in Capricorn, still in the Capricorn moon cycle. Hopefully we can find some clarity of all of this, even though Mars is still retrograde and we're still feeling stuck in the mud. The full moon in Cancer, I think, is really going to highlight something that helps sustain you for the rest of the year. What are the things that, I know I already said this, but what are the things that will nurture you, sustain you, keep you replenished, and almost kind of like making a nest that you can always come back to throughout the year when things get crazy. You can come back to yourself, breathe, do whatever it is you need to recuperate. And then January 20th or January 19th, the sun moves into Aquarius, which Aquarius brings all of that mental awareness and wisdom. Aquarius is like the trendsetter, and they're trying the new things and doing things differently. So Aquarius helps bring clarity to the goals that you've set and helping you figure out, I want to do this thing. How can I do it? How can we get from, we want to be a better society, we want to have a better community, we want to have better this and better that, and we want to accomplish these things, but how do we do it? How do we get there? What are the new ways of thinking? This also can be like new technology time of year, especially when Mercury follows into Aquarius on the 27th. So new technology, it does kind of bring up the idea of alien communication, because Aquarius is just like out of the box kind of thinking. Then at the end of January, Uranus goes direct. It's been retrograde since October. And Uranus is the planet of liberation and freedom. So I do think that might be the kickstart of whatever's going to happen this year.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
When did you say that was?
January 30th. So last day of January.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
That's been the
oh my gosh, I forgot to talk about Venus is moving into Pisces January 2nd at the beginning of the month. And this is very
today.
Oh yeah, today. So this is very like dreamy, romantic kind of energy. So I love Pisces energy, and I just like holding on to whatever Pisces energy we can get because it just makes me feel better.
Good.
So that's like the good thing. Everything else is kind of very hard and rigid, and
yeah. Okay. But nothing like super serious yet.
Yeah.
We're saving that for the predictions for the year.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we have a lot to get into with that tonight. So yeah, that's well, I'm glad because that's what we got going on. So
yeah.
That's why we're
We
here.
didn't have anything to talk about. That would be SOL, I guess so.
But first, let's look back at last year's predictions and
Yeah.
see how close we were.
So let's say real quick first. So that we do this every year. We make predictions for 2025. We have guests on who want to share their predictions for 2025 or for the new year, and then we go over the previous year's predictions. So we've gone over 2023, 2024. Well, I guess 2023, 2024. And so we'll do that again this year. I do want to say for anybody who would like to share their predictions for 2025, feel free to put them in chat. If you want to highlight them on Twitch, we'll be going through there and we will highlight those and get them up on the screen for your predictions for 2025. Later, we are going to put a link in chat if someone would like to come into the studio, and you can come on voice or you can come on with just audio if you would like to share some New Year's wishes or your prediction for 2025. So that'll be open to you if you would like to join us, kind of open lines tonight on the prediction show. So let's dive in to last year's predictions. The first one I have down here is our dear friend, Hoaxsters.
Hoaxsters!
Hoaxer said there will be a revolution happening in mid 2024 about humanity in general, not just work and government. We might finally discover more planets in outer space, and we might get more contact with aliens or mystery beings. And so that was Hoaxer's predictions. And I was looking at it and I said, I don't know about revolution in 2024, but that has been a recurring theme. And so we'll see how that goes tonight for 2025.
And I think
there were a lot of people.
I think in general conversation
Conversation
between people, all of those things have been happening.
Yeah.
People talking about how humans need to do things differently, and of course, there's been a lot of alien talk this year with the UFO things and the drones. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, he's talked about getting more contact with aliens or mystery beings. And we have all this stuff going with the drones. We've had all this stuff going on with the congressional hearings. So it's been a busy year. Definitely not disclosure, but it's definitely been, moving that way.
Yeah.
So that was the predictions for Hoaxsters for 2024.
Nice job, Hoaxsters.
Yeah, good job. We have Linguist. So for last year, Linguist said for 2024, a long cycle will end. We are acquiring a new vision on life, our passions, how we see the world, and let go of old beliefs that we have been clinging to. As we restructure in the new year, we will see substantial growth towards seeing more clearly what is best for us. We will continue to strengthen our connection within the community, and it will grow in numbers exponentially. I think talking about Team Weird there. Mm-hmm. Many will find within the roots of their mind that all the fears were instilled by the energies that don't belong to them. And then finally, we will learn to expand our consciousness. Many other planets will be sending messages to share with others as we learn to receive the information in less distorted ways.
I think all of that is pretty right on. Once again, in conversations with people are starting to talk about and realize what's not good for us. So we need to start figuring out what's better.
I'm seeing a lot of this for 2025 as well. Like a lot of people are talking about, it's kind of like repeating themes.
Yeah.
And I don't know so much if that's prediction or if that's manifesting, but either way, it's something that's coming up for sure. Tarto Mama, who was going to be with us tonight, but is ill. And so I hope maybe we can have Tarto Mama on another night to share her predictions for 2025 because she has a lot written up for it. And so I would like for her to be able to come on and share it, but we'll see.
Mama could just be a guest.
Yeah. So good wishes to you, Tarto Mama. Hopefully you're getting some good rest right now. So anyway, so last year, Tarto Mama said the tower in January, which was a fresh start to the year last year, and to budget, to plan for unexpected things, and to be prepared for the unexpected last year. She said it would be a big year for finances and for career. and that people should be open to new possibilities. In other words, when I was reading through that, she was talking about things may not happen the way that you were expecting them to happen, but that they were going to but things were going to happen. Things were going to make progress.
Was she doing a prediction just for my life?
Well, that's what I was reading when I was looking over the video. I was like, she nailed it for you last year for sure. Yeah.
Well, I think there's quite a few other people I know in Team Weird that kind of had this similar things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job, Tarto Mama.
We had our friend Michael Manis on last year. And Michael said that there was a war between light and dark in 2024, that people were going to begin waking up, and that aliens were preparing us for the change, like to all the things that so many people are talking about, like this new higher level that's going to be happening. That we were being prepared for that by extraterrestrials.
Which we wanted to have Michael Manis on again this year, but the time change is just too much. Yeah, it's too late for him.
Yeah, because he was streaming kind of later at one point, and now I think he's kind of
on the earlier side,
which is good for him because that's probably more healthy.
It's more healthy.
Force you to stick to our American time on the other. Why are you streaming at 3:45 a.m.? So anyway, so that was the predictions for Michael Manis last year, which I think once again a lot of continuation of themes that other people were talking about. Hoaxers was talking about. Yo Erica predictions for last year. Lots of strikes. People have had enough. Lots of BS continuing. Leadership institutions continue to press down on the little guy, listening to the complaints of the top, but that the cycle was coming to an end. And people were realizing that leaders were like blaming other people, and that the leaders of these institutions were trying to be victims. Like, oh, we should feel sorry for the billionaires, like kind of idea. People are done with it. We can get through whatever is next because of the difficult times we have gone through. So coming out of COVID, coming through all the financial issues, that we were going to be prepared for what was next. Anxiety, despair, and worry about the future, fear from the media, but that we had to keep rowing, that we could make it through tough times, that we could get out of it, that we had to trust in ourselves. Better solutions were coming in the future. And we are in the transition, but not moving as fast as we wanted to.
I feel like we're still rowing, but I feel the same way about all the things that she said.
Yeah.
And Tarto Mama was going to be on tonight too, but has not been feeling well either. So we got to send love to all of our friends that couldn't be with us tonight.
All of our friends. One note we do have is I also have predictions this year from Sheepy from Blacksheepmeet. Blacksheepmeet also might join us tonight, but more than likely we're going to talk about her predictions with her because she's traveling back. She's on the road and traveling, and so we would rather her to be safe than
so, and then I would like in the car, kids yelling in the background.
So we'll have our first predictions from Blacksheepmeet. So we'll have something
a new friend.
Yeah. All right. So the next two predictions I have are from Alyson and from you, Jenny. So do you want me to go over yours, what I have written down for you, or do you just want to go over them yourself?
I don't remember what I said.
Oh, you don't remember what you said?
That was a year ago.
Well, I'll go over Alyson's first. I'll just say what I had, and if you want to add to it, Alyson, feel free. Okay. But August, you said don't plan anything, that it was going to be a hot mess. It was an end of summer issue, that it was going to be kind of raining on Leo's parade there a little bit with lots of issues. But overall, you saw it as a year of growth and expansion, but a year of growth and expansion at your own pace. Like things might not happen the way that you wanted them to. That progress was going to be made, but it might be slower than you wanted it to be. You might have gone off track, and you would have to kind of be we kind of reset and find like your direction again. And so it's kind of be a like kind of a steady 2024, I guess, but maybe a slower than you wanted to 2024. Does that sound right?
Well, I think the big thing that stuck out for me was that like being picked back up and put back on the
Oh
track.
The Mario Kart. Yeah, we
Yeah,
talked
I
about
Mario
Mario
Kart
Kart a
did.
lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times when we feel like we fall off track that we're like going backwards and that we have to start all over from like the starting line, like way back there. So you feel like you're so far behind, but having that idea of just being put right back on and you can start where you left off was very like reassuring for me. And I think I had a lot of those experiences in 2024 also. And
No, I would agree with that. I think that fits pretty well for me last year. There was a lot of times where it's like I didn't know if I was going the right way, and then I kind of had to kind of like find my direction again. Yeah.
yeah. So that was kind of based off of, I was looking at the year as an 8-year. 2024 was an 8-year, which is the Strength Tarot card. And I mean, I think I had like high hopes for the Strength Tarot card just because I like the Strength Tarot card. It's got a lion on it.
I was going to say that too. Yeah.
We all like to see that card when it comes up, but it usually does mean that like you're going to encounter things where you have to be strong.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so looking at 2025 is the Hermit year. I'm looking at this as like, how do you find your light in the darkness? So if we have that same perspective of encountering things that you need to be strong for, 2025 seems like it's going to be a year where we need to find the light in the dark. Or to retreat, go within hermit mode, regroup, and then step outside again.
Yeah. I mean, we're already kind of off to that start. So yeah.
And if you look at all of the nines of the tarot deck, that we have the 9 of Pentacles, which is a really wonderful card of abundance and prosperity. And we have the 9 of Cups, which is happiness and contentment. But then remember, we also have the 9 of Swords and the 9 of Wands, which one feels like you're kind of getting beat up over and over again, but you still have one more fight in you. You still have like more left to go. And we all know the 9 of Swords, the dreaded 9 of Swords card, is overthinking and worry and being scared of things and fear. And so I think if we approach 2025 as like, how are you going to approach these obstacles? Are you going to like worry and hide in fear, or are you going to just be content where you are? Are you going to like hope for prosperity and abundance and hope that it just like works itself out? But all of these takes like going within, like taking time out to yourself, finding your center, finding like your true north and your true purpose, and finding that light and then being the light for others.
Yeah.
And I also used your beating stick emote, because that's what the 9 of Wands got. He's got his beating stick still. So when somebody comes to whack him in the head, he's got something to fight back with.
Exactly.
And that the swords goes so well with the hermit too. It's like that whole idea that you were talking about, like they go hand in hand there.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that we are going to encounter, and I mean, I have all of the big astrological transits. If you guys want to get into that, I think that there are going to be, just like the Mario Kart thing, there's going to be, instead of getting picked up and put back on track, I think it's about like putting yourself back on track, like going within, retreating if you need to.
Are you saying there's no arm this time?
There's no arm. It's like you got to do it. You got to go within. You got to hibernate for a little bit.
Pick yourself up.
Yeah, you got to do the thing yourself and then put yourself back out there.
Yeah. Reset.
Yeah.
Yeah. Reset. Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense already. I mean, very rarely do you get a sense of the new year 2 days in, but It's yeah.
So what are some of the major astrological things happening this year?
The big things is that the outer planets, which we kind of don't talk about that much because they stay in a sign for so long, 3 of them are changing signs this year. So
Mhm.
there's we all felt when Pluto moved into Aquarius last year, like that was a really big shift. And we're going to be feeling that for, I don't know, the next 20 years, however long Pluto's in Aquarius. And so this year we have, oh, whoops, I'm on the wrong notes. We have
Whenever you say Aquarius, I want to break out in a song. Just so you know.
well, none of this
When the moon,
is
like I just
Aquarius.
ready to start going.
It's all Aries. Everything's happening in Aries. So we talked about Aries being the start of spring when we should be starting things. So it does feel like this very initiative year, but it also means that things need to be burnt to the ground. Aries is fire. Sometimes things need to be burnt to the ground and then you build from the ashes. So Neptune is moving into Aries, and it hasn't been in Aries since 1861.
Which Frosty? What happens in 1861 in the United States?
The beginning of the Civil War. So South Carolina attacks Fort Sumter. So we get the very beginning of the Civil War in 1861, the election of Abraham Lincoln, and he takes office in 1861. So, yeah.
And like KC was saying earlier, when Pluto moved into Aquarius, it was the French Revolution. And when Pluto moved into Aquarius last year, the French government did whatever the heck it did.
Wow.
So
1778, yeah. Yeah, right after 1776.
There was a lot of revolutions. American Revolution, French Revolution, Haitian Revolution, Age of Enlightenment, Industrial Revolution. That's a lot of revolutions. Wow.
Jupiter is moving from Gemini into Cancer. And last time it was in Cancer was 2014. So not that long ago, but Gemini and Cancer are very different. Jupiter's the planet of growth and expansion, and it's currently retrograde right now and has been retrograde since October of 2024. And it's going to move into Cancer in June. So that will be like the middle of the year, feeling that shift. And I like the idea of Jupiter in Cancer because we talked about Cancer earlier being mothering, caring, nurturing. And when you're talking about the planet of growth and expansion, like expanding things that like make you feel comfortable, expanding things that nurture you. So this feels like a good shift, but again, it's just a big shift that we're probably going to feel. Also, Saturn is moving into Aries in May. So Saturn's currently in Pisces. It's been in Pisces for like 3 years. Saturn is the planet of boundaries and restrictions, which I really felt this shift from, what was it in before? It was in Aquarius before, which is an air sign, into a water sign. Like it took me a while to figure out, how do we set boundaries with water? How do we like water moves? There is like no boundary. So it was kind of hard to figure that out. And I've found that using water to clear energy was really beneficial during this time. So I don't know what we're going to have to use to set boundaries and clear our energy with fire. I don't know how to do that really. I guess light a candle.
Burn it down.
Burn that shit down. I don't know. Burn the wall down. I don't know. I don't know.
Is burn it down going to be the slogan for 20?
I guess so.
Might be.
So those are like really like big planetary shifts, and it's happening at I guess the first one is it's happening over the summer. So Neptune moves. Oh no, Neptune moves in March. Sorry, Neptune moves in March. Jupiter is in June, and Saturn's in May.
Well,
Yeah, lots of movement.
So again, going back to that hermit thing, when we're encountering these big shifts or these crazy things happening in the world, how can you ground and center yourself, find your light, and then be the beacon for everybody else? Hey, I'm a safe place.
Yeah, and be able to kind of
Yeah.
reset on all that. Well,
And-
I guess that could make for an interesting year, if nothing else. If there's like lots of, if it's kind of changing, things are kind of,
Yeah.
resetting.
And both of those things you were talking about light, though, because we're referring to burning something down, which has to do with fire, which is light. But then we're also talking about finding the light or being the light in the darkness. All of that is still related around this idea of light.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or fire with your lantern. Some symbolism there.
And that beginning also, the Aries being the springtime. Maybe this is the final like first step that we've all been waiting for, is that initiatory step towards the place that we were trying to get to.
Yeah.
I say that like this.
Yeah.
Right? We're ready? You guys ready?
I think my predictions are going to be about, kind of the same stuff here. Okay, Frosty, tell me what mine was last year, because I don't remember.
All right, so for medium Jenny Lee, we had fear, terror, and frustration. More war, death, destruction, and climate change.
We had some really great stuff for 2024.
But also joy, togetherness, and renewal. Searching and seeking within, more people to find their own souls, more connection to source, urgency from people to help Mother Earth heal. The USA was a crumbling of old structures. It was a tower moment for the United States. And then specifically for Team Weird and the Twitch Collective, as you referred to it last year, we would continue to help each other using laughing, joy, and love. Increase in people looking for help and assistance, though some will leave, more people will be turning inward.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really remember any of that. And I guess kind of like you were saying at the beginning, we were talking about last year's predictions. I think 2025 might be more of the same.
Yeah.
Well, nothing happens like, it's like,
it's
like
not
to
all
separate
gonna
things into like these
change in
small
a
chunks of
year.
time.
Yeah, exactly.
And like we talk about this all the time, if you're talking about the crumbling of a structure, and if you're talking about a tower moment and then rebuilding from that tower,
it takes a long
like when you're
time.
talking about a life event, when you're talking about a job, or you're talking about a relationship, that could be a matter of days, weeks, months, maybe a year. When you're talking about that, when you're talking about geopolitics or whatever, like I talk to you all the time, Rome fell and Europe didn't recover for 1,000 years. So, you got to think Rome fell in roughly 500, a little later. And then we don't have the Renaissance, for almost 1,000 years.
Yeah, then we have the Dark Ages, yeah.
So when we talk about, and I'm not saying it is, but if you think of the United States as a modern Rome, and maybe we aren't a modern Rome, but we're definitely a modern superpower. I don't think that could be, then what is the tower moment? Is it a complete destruction? Is it a complete fall? Is it a resetting? Is it just, a shifting from the Roman Republic to the Roman Empire? Or is it that tower moment where, it might, anyway, I'll get off my horse there, but it could be time. It could be time, not a year.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So the way that I did my predictions was asking higher self questions. And like I was telling Alyson before we started the stream, when you ask higher energies questions like this, they don't have the same ideas of things that we do. Like they don't see things as good and bad or something horrific as horrific because it's all part of the divine plan. It's all part of what needs to happen, and that we're all going to be fine, and that everything's going to be exactly the way it should be. So just keep that in mind as I go through mine, because every good thing probably has something bad in it, and every bad thing probably has something good in it. So the thing I asked, this is the first question I asked, was what's the overall theme for 2025? And it was transformation. Which, of course, like we've been talking about, transformation can be fantastic and wonderful, but transformation can also be painful and difficult and uneasy and off balance. So it's like the good and the bad. Like we want things to change and be better. We want things to be different. But in order for them to do that, we probably have to go through the darkness first. Then I asked specifically about the shift, because we keep talking about this and it keeps getting brought up everywhere, and all kinds of energies are always telling us about it, you know, for us specifically, but also all the other people in the world that channel or talk to higher selves or whatever. So I asked about the shift, and this was interesting because they said, which this is one of those things where I'm like, okay. One of the big things of the shift that people going through the shift are going to experience is feeling a deeper happiness and harmony, which sounds fantastic, right? Just remember there's probably some negative sprinkled in there, okay? And then the small things for the people going through the shift, which they're very specific about who's going through the shift, because not everybody going through it. It's like, that's a whole thing we can't even talk about all at one show. The small things that people are going to notice is that they're going to notice love through all things. Remember, the negative things are all things. So it's like there's love in everything, even the painful, hard, dark times. So then I asked if there's going to be any major catastrophes or anything. And they said, yes, that there would be a global catastrophe that comes from the sky, which could mean a whole lot of different things. And I didn't ask for specifics because they're probably not going to tell me anyway. But it was only some loss of life and some changes felt by all. Then the next question I asked was about war. They said that's still in flux because there's I imagine because there's so many different pieces at play that, like, who knows if that's really going to be a threat that we have to worry about or not. As usual, there's a lot of weather stuff still happening this year. Things are still scaling up with the weather, and there's going to be many small catastrophes, weather-related things throughout. The next thing I will ask, which everybody wants to know, what about ET contact? Not yet, is what they said. But this is something that I also asked about, and they said, and I don't know what this means, so you can read into it however you want, but the government is planning for ET contact, but their tactic is confused awareness.
Confused awareness. That kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
You're doing a good job of it.
So it's like
That's
they
probably
want
exactly
you
where
to
we
be
are
aware,
right now. Yeah.
like, hey, be aware, but don't actually know what's happening.
I feel like that's right on point because most people now, I feel like people who aren't weirdos that I talk to, I think tend to be like, yeah, I think there's something out there. Like, but what's going on? And what's going on with these drones? And what about that stuff that's happening in Congress? So it's like they become aware of this stuff, but there's a lot of confusion with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's on purpose.
Yeah.
That's on purpose.
I guess that keeps people from being able to like radicalize it though. Like, right,
Mhm.
if you're unsure,
Yeah.
then it tempers things.
Mhm.
I don't know.
So then I asked about Trump's presidency. More fighting amongst people, angst, anger, restlessness. But there's always the good. So look for the good people, is what they said.
Hmm.
Which always reminds me of the Mr. Rogers, which I got a Mr. Rogers neighborhood shirt for Christmas this year.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Rogers always said that his mom told him whenever there's something terrible happening in the world, that you have to look for the good because there's always people doing good things. So I think that that's harks back to Alyson's lantern in the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And then I always have to ask about Team Weird. And it was kind of the same thing that they said last year. New members that have been searching for home are going to find us, but some will fall away, that's always the cycle.
It's just the way things are, yeah.
Yep. Some will transform, which I think we saw that this year specifically. So that's going to be happening more. We're going to continue to communicate with like-minded souls in a loving, nurturing, and okay. So then I was writing this down, and it was supposed to say uplifting way, but I accidentally wrote the word uplighting.
Oh.
Going back to that light that we've been talking about. So we're still going to be doing what we do in loving, nurturing, and uplighting way. And that's my predictions for 2025.
Well, yeah, I feel like that's kind of on the same track with what we've heard from a lot of others.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Casey said, I'm tired of painful transitions. Yeah, for reals.
Yeah. But, I think it's important because we were a little doom and gloom tonight. But, I thought it was interesting, too, because Alyson, you had talked about the love in the darkness, right? Isn't that what you're talking about? Like there would be love in the darkness?
Light in the darkness, but I think love works too.
Yeah. Well, what was it we were just talking about? Something about how there would be like love.
Venus has moved into
Pisces.
Something Pisces today. That was where the love thing was coming in.
Okay. But like then you were talking about kind of the same thing, Jenny, with the whole idea that even though there's like bad things going on, there can be good things that are happening.
Yeah.
And so that's maybe that's kind of a theme for this year is like, I don't know, like you said, just look for the good things, I guess.
And sometimes the really bad things that happen in our world provide opportunities for people to do really amazing, wonderful things, which is something that the higher up beings always are trying to get us to understand. But that's really hard to do when we're the ones having to go through it. Yeah.
Like institutions and groups have been like my big downfall lately. Like people individually are great. I have problems with large groups and institutions. But I also have to remember that when you're in those large groups, that individuals are great typically. And that, when you're driving home in traffic, 99% of the people are doing exactly what they're supposed to do. And they are trying to be helpful. It's only the few that are absolute insane people who deserve a certain finger. But you have to remember that's a small minority and that it's not everybody.
So do you think it's possible within the institutions to change it for the better, or do you think it has to crumble to be rebuilt?
I don't know. I think I'm limited by my own scope, and my own scope says it has never gotten better, and so that it can only it can only decline. I don't. I guess there could, like, I hope for reform. Like, there could be reform, but man, like, when have we? I've never seen reform my whole life,
Yeah.
so I don't
I
know.
think that's when the burn it down card comes out.
Yeah.
I think it has to crumble before it can be.
Well, I talk about this all the time. So to get specific, so I'm not talking like in vague terms. For instance, one of the institutions I would talk about is like the department, like our system of education. Our system of education is drowning. I mean, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's broken. It's dysfunctional. It's borderline destructive. Like it in some ways, it's doing more harm than it is good. But there's lots of great people trying to do lots of great things. But can you reform it? I mean, I don't know. Like sometimes, it's like when you have that car accident and there's just so much damage to it that it's just better to throw it away and get a new one. And I think some of those systems, I guess you would have to look at each of those systems and talk to the people who know, because I would say for like the system of education, it's got to be completely redone. And the problem with that is no one will look at it and say, okay, this is broke, let's fix
Nobody
it.
will actually do that.
Yeah. And so it will only get fixed when it craters. But the problem is it kind of already has.
Social work. Lou says.
Social work.
I think that we can all agree mental health system has never been worth a shit in our country.
Our healthcare system. Well, I mean, that's one for sure. Because we know, I mean, and I'm sure many of you do too, know nurses who are working in the field that are just like, yeah, this can't keep going that way.
Yeah.
They're short doctors, they're short nurses, they're short, all over the place, and they're working too long hours, and the system's broke. That the stuff's too expensive. People can't, so I don't know where we go from there.
It was about 3 years ago, probably, that we did the spirit art channeling with Peter, and he said that things needed to be restructured, and it was telling us that a long time ago. And like we keep seeing it, and it keeps getting talked about a lot more, which I think is good, because the more people are talking about it and the more people that are having those conversations, the more we can either start having the actual actions that change it, or we can work on those manifesting powers by the conversations,
Yeah.
And
I'm sure there's many more that we can talk about. I mean, pretty much any department you could probably go into, I think, is facing those issues.
Keleth really wants everybody to know that their prediction is that they're going to find a tiny dinosaur head
in
amber this year. A tiny dinosaur, like is it going to be the link between the dinosaur and the chicken? That's what I keep thinking.
I have to admit that when I saw that earlier, I thought he meant the person.
I did too.
And I was like, what?
Oh, wait a minute. Amber as in the sap that turns to stone.
Yeah, like Jurassic Park. Like Jurassic Park.
They already found the chicken one.
That would be really cool, actually, because then we could like get possibly like some DNA sequencing, and then we could learn more about dinosaurs.
That's just what we need. Cool. Jurassic
I'm not saying cloning them. I'm not saying cloning them. I'm saying find out more information.
Well, they're trying to do it with the woolly mammoth. They're going to try to do it with a dinosaur.
I think that we'll see some other things first, like the dodo bird and stuff like that. I think we'll see some animals that went extinct recently.
I don't know. I don't trust anybody.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and you never know. There's certain groups of people out there that would probably do it regardless.
You made predictions this year too for the first time, Frosty. Why don't you tell us yours?
I did. Well, actually, I was thinking, do we want to do we can do mine, or we can do Blacksheepmeets?
Let's do yours.
Okay. All right. So Frosty's prediction. I did a 3-card draw. I just kind of asking what did we with the intent of doing the show tonight. So, what did the witching hours and the listeners need to know about 2025? And the first card I drew was the Two of Pentacles. So there was going to be lots of uncertainty in 2025, and that there was going to be financial issues that were going to require tight budgeting. And it was going to be important for people out there to be thrifty and to look for deals. Like not that you couldn't spend this year, but like try to make smart purchases, or if you're going to make a big purchase, try to get the biggest bang for your buck kind of thing. That you weren't kind of putting yourself out too far. And there is going to be a need to find balance, not just with money, but also time. So this year specifically was going to be financial issues, but really issues with resources. So making sure that you are budgeting things appropriately, budgeting your time right, budgeting your finances right, making sure you had a little bit like in case something kind of came up that you might need. The second card I drew was the King of Pentacles. So kind of staying with that materialism there. So once again, finding balance, working smarter, not harder, which was another one, which I thought kind of played into some of the problems with institutions. Like a lot of stress is being put on people in all these places. Like pretty much like, I feel like, jobs are always stressful. There's always things that you have to accomplish, and stress can be a good thing. Stress can be a motivator. Stress can be rewarding, once you've gone through that. But I feel like this is one of those times where, because systems are breaking, it's like, look, don't do more than you need to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, do what you need to do to get through your day. Manage your resources, enjoy life rather than worrying about what you cannot control. So even though your budget's going to be tight, just take time to enjoy what you have. Take time to enjoy the little things, to enjoy the things you already have. If the world is in financial chaos, we don't have to be. So when other systems crumble around you, it doesn't mean that you have to crumble, that your system has to crumble. A time to hold close to things that are most important to you and to let the other things go, which actually worked out really well for the next card. So I'll kind of leave that last thought there. And also like a question of decisions. But then the third card I drew actually worked perfect with that, because that was the Ten of Wands in reverse. So the Ten of Wands in reverse, I interpreted that as like, there's a warning about finding balance in economic tightness, but it's also showing that we can take on more now. We might be in a place to be able to pick up some things that we had to put down before. And so we are able to withstand burdens that we maybe couldn't have in the past. Which leads me back to what I was talking about at the end of the last card, which is a time to hold close to things that are important to us, to let other things go, about making decisions, and then kind of picking up the things that really meant something to us this year. Like choose those things that you have a connection with, that are important to you. Kind of going back to that work smarter, not harder. Let the things that aren't helping you, the things that you don't have time for, the things that you can't fit into your budget, like just let them go.
Yeah.
So overall, I would say more economic downturn was what I was getting out of that. That things aren't, that no matter what happens with the economy this year, there's not going to be a complete change. There's not going to be an uptick. No one, that minimum wage isn't going to shoot up to $50 an hour or anything. So we're going to keep struggling with more of what we face in 2024 with the economy. Not that it can't get better, but it's still going to be kind of issues that we have to work through in 2024 or in 2025. Sorry.
That has been the financial report with Gina Frost.
I thought it was interesting that so many finances came up.
It made me think, like, if we all are in financial ruin, then we're all in the same boat. We're all in the same, like,
we're still rowing, Alyson. Just keep rowing. Put your little lantern out on the front so you can see where you're going.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't take it necessarily as like a negative. I just kind of saw it as, like kind of more of the same, and just realizing that you can only do what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
To like not, to not stress about it as much as you can. Yeah. But that's what came out for me. So there we go.
Nice.
And I didn't make any predictions last year. So
No.
Oh, I
don't
was
know if
going to
you
ask
ever
what were
had
yours
you?
last year?
no, I don't think I had ever made any predictions.
So I'm putting out the link if anybody actually wants to come on and share their predictions. You can do it with or without video.
Yeah, it's much easier to join us now because that'll bring you right into the backstage in StreamYard, which is a program you use, and then you can decide whether you have, of course, your microphone, but whether or not you want to use video is completely up to you.
And we've got about 35 minutes left, so
Yeah,
if
we got
anybody
time.
wants to do that. If you had any predictions that you wanted to share just in chat, please use the highlight in Twitch so that we can see them. So I think there might have been some that people said earlier that we missed. Sheepy's here. Just got to the hotel. Sheepy, would you like us to read yours for out loud? Or are you planning on coming on? Casey wants to know if it's time for a zombie apocalypse. So we don't have to worry about the credit card bill.
Yeah. Yep, everything falls apart. Yep.
Luce doesn't want any more deaths in the family. Yes, Luce. I'm hoping
That's a
that
good
for you
prediction.
too, my dear. Okay, Sheepy might actually be joining us for real.
Okay, excellent.
Getting stuff set up, but you made it. Yes. Yes.
Excellent, Sheepy. I think I sent you the link already, but if you need it,
It's at the top
let
of
me
the
know.
chat.
Okay.
Yep. And then while we're waiting, if anybody doesn't have a prediction that they want to share, do you have a word for next year that you would like to share with us?
Yeah.
Anybody have a word for 2025? I know that's something that a lot of us do. Or if you have a resolution, that's the pretty typical, atypical, normal thing that people do for the new year. Luna said worth. That's a good one. Hello, arsenic gummy bear.
Worth. Yeah.
Said power. Amber's going with confidence. Casey is freedom. And Luce is forward. These are all wonderful.
Yeah.
May of Autumn's got create. Kelleth, that's an interesting one. Compromise. Nice.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Guys,
Are you gonna do your Be Right Back screen this year with words?
No, because my Be Right Back screen is all the art gallery.
Your art. Yeah.
But I tried to do one last year for something, but nobody participated, so I didn't do it for last year. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of wanted to do a new starting soon screen. Maybe we could do it for that.
It took me a while to get my word last year. I don't think I had it right at January. Maybe others.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Might be what was happening.
Like I said, sometimes, like usually this time of the year, I'm not even, understanding that it's a new year yet. But this year has been a little direct in its approach.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't know what any of my goals are for 2025 because I don't even know where the hell I'm at right now. But I know that I would like for my word to be content. I'm content with whatever and wherever.
I think I'm going to do some health stuff this year.
Oh, health stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And, but I'll put that out there later as I think about it, because especially since I'm streaming and out there, once I make the decision and once I verbalize it, I want to be accountable for it. So I don't want to make any promises I'm not going to keep yet.
So
But
you're not
yeah,
going to say it yet, so you don't have to
not
do it
yet.
yet.
I'm still. Well, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to do yet,
You
and I
could
don't want to
just
like.
say your word for the year is health, and that
Well, it
covers
is. It's
everything. Yeah.
healthy, maybe like a healthier or something like
Mhm.
that. I think maybe.
So you're just
But I want to
focused
set.
on health, whatever that means for you
Yeah,
this year. Yeah.
but for specifically, I want to come up with some goals.
Yeah.
So and I'll share those goals maybe when I decide what they're going to be, and then I can kind of work towards those
There you go. Your words
as we go along in the year.
accountability.
Yeah, as we go along the year. So
Luce
yeah,
also
we'll see what
needs to
that's going
go
to be.
with hydration.
Yeah, hydration. Well, I
Yeah.
started doing yoga with you recently, which I've
Mhm.
enjoyed. It's been good
Mm.
because I don't know, as I've gotten into my 40s, I became very stiff all of a
Yeah.
sudden. And also I went from the army and doing like a lot of PT all the time to being like a history student, and I just wrote papers all day every day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I've been behind, and then streaming. So and then teaching. So like I got out of the army and I've just been sitting behind a desk for like 10 years now,
Yeah.
12 years now. And so yeah, I want to be a little more active this year. So I'm going to come up with some goals, and I'll share them, and hopefully be able to, if anybody else wants to
Alyson, in
sidekick
your
what they can.
Discord, there's been some times where you guys had a physical fitness
Mhm.
thing to keep each other accountable, isn't there?
We did I think we did we've done 30-day challenges, and we did a 90-day challenge of push-ups before.
Mhm.
And so you start on the first of the month and you do one push-up, so that by the 30th of the month you do 30. And you don't have to do 30 in a row. You can do like 3 sets of 10 throughout the day.
Yeah,
And it's just doing something every day physical was really, that's like the only thing I've ever stuck to before ever. Doing one push-up feels silly, but you're like in the act of like, I'm going to get down on the floor, do this,
yeah,
get back up, and doing it every day for 30 days. Like it really helps. And you start out slow, and you get, the 90-day one is kind of a lot, but the 30-day one's okay.
I did that with planks one year, doing a plank every day, making it a little bit longer every day.
the plank challenge. Yeah, the plank
Mhm.
challenge would be a cool one. Yeah, we could do something like that. Do like a 30-day plank challenge, which is good for the core. I bought a weight bench in the spring, and I haven't used it.
Wasn't gonna say it. I was hoping he
Yeah.
would say it.
Yeah, I haven't used it, and I want to, like, I still have all. That's what I'm saying. Like, I just got to get like I got to get there. I got to get some more weights for it. But yeah, I want to start doing that a little bit. Nothing like crazy. I just want to like start setting something that is. I want to set something that is that I can set a schedule and actually like not be intimidated by it, and like actually kind of want to do it. The easiest thing for me to do is run. But I ran in the army so much I kind of just grew to hate it. So I just like I don't want to run. I can. So I'm just trying to find some stuff that I'm enjoying yoga. So maybe finding some things there to be able to do. So when
Running's
I
really
decide,
hard on your joints too. So if you're
Mhm.
feeling
yeah,
stiff already, that's probably not going to help you.
yeah,
Yeah.
I do like the runner's high.
Mm.
Like that, like once you've run till you feel like you're gonna die, and then all of a sudden you get like this kick of adrenaline where you think you can destroy the earth with your bare hands. But yeah, like that's fun. But yeah, I don't know. I'm probably you're probably right. Plus, like more injuries, probably
Yeah.
that way. So
Mhm.
like that's something that once I come up with some goals, I'll put it in Discord. If people want to do something, we can definitely do that, because I think it's always funner to do it with other people, and to
Mhm.
Mhm.
kind of be like, I don't want to let Alyson down and not do my plank today, so I'm going to make sure I do it, or whatever. So yeah, those are the kinds of things we could do. All right. Sheepy said she was ready for the link.
Yes,
Got
I
that in
sent
there.
it twice. Hopefully she's seen it. And
Kella
she's
said, I'm
just
going to work
figuring
on
things
myself
out.
this year. No more light work stuff. Okay. Very good. You quit on the light work, Kelleth. Um, Amber said they bought an elliptical 5 years ago that's never been used.
Oh no.
You can get that high with weightlifting too. Oh yeah, I used to lift weights when I was in the army quite a bit, loose, and it's just a matter of like getting in a habit of doing it. So right now my goal I think is I want to do yoga every week and I want to do a weight lift. Just nothing crazy at first, but just get into some light weightlifting once a week too with Jenny. So that's kind of my goal right now. So she wants me to do yoga, and if I can get us to do a little bit of light weightlifting, I think that'll work out both for us pretty well. What else do we have in here?
You do need a lot of strength for yoga for some of those poses.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not. Look, I was shocked my first couple nights going to yoga because, I mean, once again, like I was in the army, like we hit it pretty hard when I was deployed. Like I was, I think I'm nothing special, but I think I managed to bench press about 350, which is nothing, but for me, that was pretty good. And I've just gotten so out of shape. I went to that yoga, which is taught by an older woman, and she kicked my butt. Like I was just like, and it's supposed to be like a light yoga.
We're in the gentle yoga class. But I'll tell you something about the gentle yoga
panting and
is that she goes so slow that she keeps you in those poses for so long that it's actually a lot harder than the yoga that goes fast.
Yeah. Holding
So
on is hard. Yeah.
It's a good workout.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll get some stuff going. So I guess that's going to be, I don't really do New Year's resolutions because I feel like it's kind of, I don't know. If they work for you, then that's great. But for me, I feel like this is a little bit, what's the word? It's just a little like kind of overdone.
I had a toothbrushing resolution one year where I was like not brushing my teeth twice a day. And I was like, I'm going to start brushing my teeth twice a day, every day. I think I was in my 20s or something. And that was the only resolution that I stuck with.
Yeah.
Ever since I've brushed my teeth before when I get up in the morning and when I go to bed. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I talked about this on stream or not. I can't remember if I did or not, but I used tobacco. And I smoked for years and years and years. And then when I was in the army, it's kind of popular in the army to chew. And so I used tobacco that way all the way up until very recently. And I think it was like September, October, I quit. But for me, that was like, it was just a moment where I was like, I made up my mind that I was kind of done with it. And I just quit cold turkey.
Yeah.
And it was fine. And I quit smoking cold turkey too. But yeah, so that's, so I kind of have to do, that's why I don't make New Year's resolutions. Cause for me, they're not real resolutions. Like I haven't had that moment of like, I'm going to do this. Instead, it's always just like, oh, it's a New Year's resolution and I'm not going to do this. And I'm not really dedicated to that goal.
Yeah. You're not committed to it.
Yeah.
When you're done with something, you're done with it.
Yep.
I used to bite my fingernails when I was a kid. And then when I was like 10 years old, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I never did it again. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I used to bite my fingernails too. I quit. And then I don't do it anymore.
I quit. I had cold turkey. You had to quit.
I had to quit because, as you know, I was in a bad car accident where I lost my tooth.
Oh yeah, you lost
I lost one of my
nail biting teeth.
And then my other tooth was like all jagged at the bottom.
Oh yeah.
So because it was broke too. So
you had to quit.
After that, when I would bite my nails,
turkey.
It would make like really jagged edges on it. And so it kept me from biting my nails because my nails would just be like razors, like serrated blades.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
I have a theory that men are better at doing things cold turkey than women are. I don't know why it is, but I've noticed that just the men in my life are able to just like when they say they're not going to do something, they don't do it anymore. But women are like, I did it one time.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
I can't cold turkey anything. I have to gradually.
Get a warm turkey.
Warm turkey.
Maya Bottom wants to know if anybody has advice for quitting lip biting.
Lip biting. Oh no.
Maybe
I
put
feel
a
like that
little
would be a
hot
little bit more-
sauce on the bottom of your
Yeah.
lip.
Ooh.
That would be for me. That's the most difficult things because it's not
And if you
just like something.
If you
It's
stick
like
your
a
mouth
nervous
on it, it's
habit.
going to be gross.
Hmm.
Yeah, what are the situations that you're biting it? in?
Yeah.
Seeing like what's the cause.
All right, not even hot sauce, but like something that would taste gross if you like, Oh, on the inside. Well, never mind. You can't do that then. You can't be walking around with some nasty stuff in your mouth all day.
You probably have to find something at first to replace it.
It's to bite on instead of your lip.
Yeah, like hard candy or
Gum.
well, like when I quit smoking cigarettes, I switched over to sunflower seeds for a while. Just because I needed some kind of like something like some kind of fixation. Because so much of that for me was just like it was just like almost like a fidget. Like it was something to do.
There's a lot of sensory things for children
Mhm.
that have like sensory issues. There's probably something out there that's specifically for biting and chewing that you could get, that's not bad for you, or it's not going to be food related. A chewy crystal.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, that could be a good possibility, Maya Bottom. The first week that I quit using tobacco back in like October or whatever it was, I had some Werther's Originals like hard candies at my desk, and I would pop one of those in when I was like getting to where like I needed something. It's just a complete like kind of oral fixation there. So
reprogramming your brain.
Yeah.
So do you feel like the nicotine was hard then?
Oh, nicotine. Yeah, I think nicotine is really hard because like I haven't been a smoker where I like bought cigarettes in 15 years now. And still, when I get in a vehicle and I put my seatbelt on, the first thing I do is reach for my pack of cigarettes. So it's like it gets programmed in your brain pretty bad. Two big things for me with cigarettes and quitting tobacco was when I was done eating, which I still do. Like as soon as I'm done with a meal, like I want a cigarette.
Yeah.
And then when I get in my car and I put my seatbelt on, usually the first thing that I would do would be to light a cigarette. Those are the two times where even now, like any other time, I'm pretty much good. I don't even think about it. But yeah, nicotine's pretty addictive, man. Like you don't realize it until, and then think about other things that people deal with, other addictions that people deal with
that are even worse.
Yeah, like it's not it's definitely something that people overcome that stuff, man. You guys deserve tons of praise and respect because it's not easy to do. If someone hasn't had an addiction before, it's probably easy. You don't understand, but yeah, it's a lot of hard work. Holding a spinner sounds childish, but works to spin your troubles away. Yeah, like I have a cloth that I have in my class, like to wipe the board with, and I wrap it around my fingers. So, and my kids asked me why I do it, and I was like, I don't know, it's like my fidget spinner, I guess. But yeah, I used to have a yardstick that I'd go and tap on the tables with. And when kids asked me what it was, I said it was my kid hitting stick, but I don't have the yardstick anymore. So.
What happened to the yardstick? Did they take it away from you?
Oh, I switched schools. I left it behind.
Oh.
I inherited it. I was already in the classroom that I inherited, so I left it.
Left it for
to
the
whatever
next,
person inherited
the next person.
Next. Yeah.
Here's Sheepy. Sheepy's here.
All right. We are going to bring on another wonderful friend of the program, Blacksheepmeet.
Hi, Sheepy.
Hi. Can you hear me?
I can. We can.
Okay. There's no echo, is there? these headphones. Okay, I think we're good.
Okay. You can
Awesome.
hear us all right?
Yes.
You're coming to us from a
Excellent.
hotel in some unknown state, right?
I'm in New Mexico.
Oh, New Mexico.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to say, like, did you guys get to travel like Route 66 or whatever?
No, we just
No?
usually take the 10 because the 10 is like a straight shot. It literally goes from San Antonio to Los Angeles. So
Oh,
that's usually
wow.
our basic route.
And just trying to get through Texas is like a day and a half. So
It is.
that's a
It
heck of a
really
drive.
Texas is, I've shared this story before, but Texas was a beast. I had many people who I wanted to visit in Texas when I lived in Texas. One of which was like my best friend who like joined the army like a month after I did. And he was stationed in El Paso and I was stationed at Fort Hood. He was at Fort Bliss or whatever. And it was like, oh, awesome, man. Like we got to hang out on the
We're both
weekends.
in Texas.
We're both in Texas. How lucky are we to both get stationed in Texas? And then I looked it up and we were like 13 hours apart.
Yeah,
And we're like,
it takes a whole day just to get out of Texas.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like you could
And we're
drive
like,
the whole
well,
eastern seaboard.
yeah. We're like, well, we'll find a place in the middle to meet and we can get together on the weekends. And the middle was out in the middle of nowhere in the desert.
Yeah. It's like tumbleweeds and a cactus.
So we never saw each other once. But anyway, Sheepy, we're glad to have you on. We're glad you could make it. We appreciate you so much. We've just.
Oh no, did I lose you?
No, you're still there.
You're here for us. We can hear you.
Can you hear us? Hello, hello.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Can't hear. Hold on.
Oh no.
Here, let me see if I can. Well, I'll give her a second. If we can't get through, I'll try to bring her out and bring her back in.
Let me leave and come.
Okay. All right. So we'll have she be back on in a second.
Yeah,
but Texas is huge. 2025 strikes early. Yeah, that was always interesting living out there because it was just like, yeah, I thought Virginia was a long state to get through.
I mean, aren't they very like different environments too? Like northern Texas is so different from southern Texas.
Uh-huh.
Okay, she's back.
Yeah, very much can be. Can you hear us, Stevie?
Okay.
Okay.
Good?
Okay,
So,
I think we're good.
Okay. So I won't make it too long. I don't know if you were able to hear anything earlier, but this is the theme we have going for tonight.
Okay.
So far we've talked a little bit. We've given our predictions, and we've seen that it seems like more of the same from 2024, kind of like moving on, having to deal with some struggles. But we want to see what you have for 2025.
So when I did mine, I was getting more because I was listening to a bit of it while I was driving, and I was getting more along the lines of like humanity itself, like the way people are feeling more than anything else. So for the most part, it kind of was like it's like soul searching, I guess you could say. It feels like a big soul searching year and a big, if it's not worth it or it's not anything important, then it's something to get rid of as far as like people and connections. And it's really like focusing on more of what's like valuable. Like making quality over quantity. I guess that's the best, like some of what I was getting. But yeah, like the overall, where did I write it? I wrote it all down. Let's see if I can remember what I wrote. It was giving a lot of those kinds of decisions with connections and people, and trusting your instincts was also really big. And learning, yeah, it was mostly just like what's important to give your attention to. So like not wasting time, not doing things because, like, for example, a big one would be like if it's family, but they take advantage of you. It's like, is it worth it to spend that time with them, or give your time to them, or is it more important to give it to those people who are maybe there for you more often, kind of thing. But that's a lot of what I was getting. There was a lot of cups when I pulled cards. There was a lot of cups, and there was a lot of twos. And I was thinking about that too, because earlier there was a mention of nines, and I was getting a lot of twos, which usually for me is like balance. So it was almost like trying to find the balance of, again, like what is going to be worth the time and energy, and what are you holding on to that's not. And it's time to like get rid of those things.
That's so weird, because that's pretty much exactly Frosty's predictions.
Really? I only caught like a few seconds, and then I couldn't hear any the rest of Frosty, so I have to go back and listen to it.
Like Frosty was talking about it in a financial way, but it was still exactly the same thing. Like being more restrictive with your money and time, and then like letting the things fall away that aren't good for you or that aren't worth it, and only keeping the things that were of real value. It's like exactly the same reading.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. like budgeting your resources, but like not just money, but time also,
Yeah, it was like, again, it was like a lot of bonds and connections that it felt like between people. But I mean, again, essentially that's time, right? Because you're using your time, which is so valuable, to be with these people, and it's like you want to make sure you're spending it with people who deserve it. But yeah, that was mostly the gist. I know I wrote quite a bit, but that was basically the bottom line of what it really felt like. The beginning of the year, of course, January is going to be really slow, like normal. But I think that's where it starts. And then as the year goes on, like May, what is it, April, May, June, it was some of those connections that you should start working on at the beginning of the year. It's going to start to, I guess, show itself, like which ones are the ones you made the right choices with and the ones that you didn't make the right choices with. And then from July, August, September, that was where your instincts will start to kick in. If you've been putting the time in the beginning of the year, you're going to start to see when those connections are not right. It'll be more blatantly clear if you've been putting in the work. And then September feels like things are going to kind of slow down with lack of motivation. So that kind of feels like a reset time, where it's like time to start finding new goals and new dreams and things like that. And I think that was a slowdown because of so much of that work on, disappointment with people maybe, or, the hard work, like trying to find your people as well, whatever that may manifest for people. It kind of seems like it's like a reset to kind of get rid of the funk that you maybe feel as a loss, I guess you could say. And then the last bit of the year, that's going to be where it kind of is going to feel like you're afraid to get back out there again. But that's where it felt like the shift. So like October, November, December felt like a shift, and it's like, okay, this is your chance to get out there again and put what you learned through the year into action. And I think that's where all the I guess all the abundance will kind of hopefully start to make sense, or to at least pay attention, because you'll find that even though maybe it may not be like a financial success year, it could be more abundant in other ways.
That last part that you were talking about, the last part of the year, about like being afraid to go back out there, was
Mhm.
a lot of what Allison's reading was about.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like the hermit of like having to step back and go within and look at things and find the light and reassess. But then
That's
like
what I that's
but
what I got was the hermit in
yeah.
October.
But like then
And
you have to have the courage to be the light to go back out. Like you can't
Yes.
just continue to be the hermit. Like that was a big part. Yeah.
I also thought it was
Exactly.
interesting. I also thought it was interesting because you used the word reset, which is another thing that Allison was talking about of like we have to be able to go out and then go back in and reset to be able to go back out again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard her
Yeah.
speaking about that and I was like, "Ooh, that hits so hard," because I remember
Yeah. It's always fun when you kind of get when you see all these things kind of you know,
That's my
fortify each
favorite
other.
part
There we go.
about
I'm back. I'm back.
oh, we lost you.
Am I here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
you're
here.
good.
Okay. But yeah, that word reset really hit home when she said it earlier too.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things about doing this prediction show is that we all spend time coming up with our predictions individually, separately, and then we come together and see all the patterns and all the things that like everybody has something within each other's predictions. It's always amazing.
It's really cool and it's really validating.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yes.
Validating is exactly the word I was looking for earlier. Yeah. It's
You
not,
know
when you
that
do those,
you're
it's
not
great to
just
get
making it
validation.
up.
Yeah.
Those cards didn't come out for no reason. It's
Exactly.
exactly what it was supposed to be because we're all getting the same information.
Um, a lot of this kind of energy that I'm getting from the reading, like we are just talking about, kind of blending of what we were talking about, sheepy. But I feel like the word challenging is something that I was looking through in the written part that you gave me that I'm looking over
Mhm.
here. And challenging can be difficult, and it might not be what people want to hear, but it doesn't mean that there's not positivity that you can't take out of that. Because I feel like if you overcome those challenges, and you find growth.
Yes, and
Mhm.
that's what it felt like too. It felt like the year's going to start out pretty challenging, and that's why I think at the end of the year it feels like it's okay, like don't be afraid. I know it was a little scary, but this is your chance to hopefully whatever you learned, you should be okay to move forward kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But the challenge is what's pretty scary and can kind of throw us off the path a little bit.
And that's what my reading was about. Hey, all this scary shit's going to happen. But guess what? It's all going to be good. And there's going to be good things about the bad things and bad things about the good things.
Yeah, and if you don't mind, Sheepy, I was gonna. Are you finished going over your stuff? Because I don't want to take the wind out of your sails.
The only last thing I had was that mostly this year just or this yeah, well this year now it's the second. It just really feels like it kind of hit me at the end where I was like, this really feels like a spiritual awakening sort of
Mm-hmm.
year for a lot of people where it's and then the bit I kind of sat and I said if there was any other messages that I could think of or that would come in and it kind of what was it what did it say it was said where is it it's gonna feel like every man for themselves but it's more to make yourself better and leaving those who are not reaching to be
Uh,
are better left behind. And
Mm.
it says that you need to find peace within ourselves and that the battles we have to win right now is, not letting fear defeat us. And that this kind of felt like those who grow this year are going to, I don't know what this meant, but that's what came to me was that we're going to be promoted to the next level
mm-hmm.
and that 2025 is not the beginning, but it kind of seems like it's the last step to like phase one. So whatever that kind of means, I feel like this is like our last chance to give it that go effort to go. I don't know, whatever's coming in the future. Maybe we'll be
Yeah,
more prepared than maybe others might be if they're not taking the advantage of these
Yeah.
kind of things to make ourselves better.
I think that's the shift that keeps getting talked about.
Yeah.
It's like not everybody's going to make it through that. Not everybody's going to be promoted to the next level.
Right.
So yeah, all of that fits together really well.
So much of that is coming through this year, and looking online too before doing the show, kind of getting a vibe of some of the things that are going out there. The shift is one of the big things that it's being talked about anyway, but in a lot of predictions, the shift was very big this year, and this leveling up, like you used in there, Sheepy, that that some people are gonna level and some aren't, and that kind of makes sense because you and I both were, as we said earlier, we're talking about like some people you have to let go, like you have to balance your resources and you have to balance your time and you have to balance your energy, and you just can't. You have to determine what's really important to you.
Exactly.
Like, who are your people?
So
And then you
now
have to move on.
it's no more time sitting on the fence. You got to decide
Yeah.
which side you're on, which way you're going to go. Or in another way, you could say, shit or get off the pot. You know?
Exactly.
Like it's time, people. The time has come.
Sink
And
or swim. Sink or swim.
They keep telling us. So make your choices.
Yeah,
Do that.
that's what this feels like is this is your last chance kind of thing where
that looking within, find that light.
things are moving.
Let the old shit fall away.
That's something I realized a couple of years ago was like I'm very much a nostalgic person. I don't like to get rid of, like, I'll try to keep lines of communication open with anybody I ever knew in my life. I'm the last person to give up on a friendship. People will probably be like, why in the hell is that guy still talking to me? Because I'm like, hey man, just wanted to reach out, see how you're doing, And a couple of years ago, I was like, you know what, like you have to learn that, like, you have to keep the people that are rooting for you, and then like the people who like don't get what you're doing or aren't returning the good energy, like it's just time for that to leave. And it doesn't mean that it has to be like this big thing or that it has to be like a bad thing. It's just time to like prioritize the people who are prioritizing, putting you as a priority. That are putting energy into you, that want to see you succeed and you want to see them succeed. And so I feel like that kind of what I did a couple of years ago is like coming through really big here too with that reading and your reading as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, excellent. Well, thank you so much, Sheepy, for I mean, you're like the champ coming through on the road, live from
Yeah.
From
Gold
middle
star.
of nowhere, New Mexico.
Gold star.
Well, here's the question though: do you have a good night sky view tonight out there in the desert?
You know what? When we got here, I looked up in the parking lot because I was waiting for everyone to get out of the car, and the moon is. So it's not what is it? It's like a crescent moon right now.
Yeah.
But the whole circle of the moon is so visible. The darkness of it.
Yeah.
So it's very prominent, which is kind of cool to see.
It always kind of creeps me out a little bit when you notice it.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It just always kind of gives me a little shiver. It's like awesome, but I don't know. There's something weird about it when that happens.
Because you think there should be like a chunk bitten out of it.
Yeah, but it's there. It's all there. Yeah.
But yeah, that's probably about it though. Everything else is pretty dark.
Excellent.
So before we wrap it up,
go ahead.
I said the word that I had for the year.
Oh,
you kind of had an idea of what was yours for the year. Alyson, you didn't share a word with us. What was going to be your word for the year? Did you decide?
I wanted enchantment, but the universe is pushing me towards love.
So are you just going to give into it and be like, okay, F it?
I guess so.
I guess so.
GP, do you have a word for the year or something similar that you're going to try to focus on this year?
I think, I mean, I think it's more connection, and that's not only with people, but I think with myself as well.
Oh, yeah.
That self-love.
Everybody's got great words this year and ideas of what they want to focus on. So hold them in your heart. We got a long way to go, guys. It's only January 2nd.
And that's a topic I want to focus on, the witching hours this year. Maybe we can get a show dedicated to that. This whole leveling up, the shift.
No shifts, yeah.
I want to get maybe someone who's looking into this a little bit. I know all of you have, but kind of getting a more of idea of like, where this stuff is coming from. And I don't know,
Maybe
it's
there's
because
an
everyone's
expert
talking
out
about
there.
it.
Maybe we can
Yeah,
find a
exactly.
shift expert.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be something to talk about this year because it took up a lot. Sheepy, if you need to go, I want to let you go. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with us tonight. And I can't wait to hang out with you again soon.
Yes, thank you so much for inviting me. Have a
Thanks,
good
All right.
one.
Have a safe
Bye.
travels.
Bye.
Yep, all that traveling through. Hadn't even got to Texas yet.
I know. Talk about the MVP live from the hotel out in the desert. So we appreciate Sheepy so much. Yeah, I was looking over her words. Like there was so much that she talked about that we talked about. It was almost like her reading was a combination of all three of our readings. It was
Which
really cool.
divine timing is supposed to happen last.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Because if she would have came on like before we knew about the travels and stuff, it would have been before me and your readings. So
And then
it
exactly.
worked
hers
out
was
exactly the way that it should have. Right?
Hers was the melding of all of them together.
Mm-hmm. Almost like a wrap up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, holy smokes! We had a lot of guests planned for tonight, and they just fell through all in ways that it's that time of year. It's the holidays.
Yeah.
There's sicknesses going around,
Yep.
so like that happens and that happens. And I was like, well, that's okay because tonight will just be a little short, and we've actually gone over.
And it's 10:05.
So what would have happened if we would have had all these other people on tonight? It would have been a 3-hour show.
Yeah.
I imagine. So, well, I'm trying to think. Well, because there's still some stuff I want to talk about. One is I just wanted to update everybody and kind of keep it in everyone's mind about the Team Weird Takeover because that is now this year, 2025.
Yes.
And it's about 6 months away. So we're getting there. If you go to the witchinghoursPodcast.com and you click on the little site navigation tool, there is a page that is called Team Weird Takeover, and you can go there, and it has an FAQ there. And so the FAQ is just kind of like some information that we thought people might want to know to make things handy for them. If you were looking at getting tickets, if you were looking at trying to plan it out, where the closest airport is, how far away it is, things like that. If there's information you need to know, feel free to put it either in the Witching Hours podcast Discord or in Medium Jenny Lee's Discord, and we can answer it in there and also add it to the FAQ. Tickets are going to be going on sale soon. We'll get a date up and we'll get the tickets going. I'm just waiting for the final confirmation from Lake Shawnee. There's no reason to believe that anything is holding it up. I just want to make sure it's like, yes, we're good. Tickets are ready to go. We're going to be doing 2 different kinds of tickets. We are going to be doing just a regular ticket that will pay to get you into Lake Shawnee, and it will include everything we do that night, and it will include the dinner that we're going to do, which I think is pizza and tacos. And then there's just going to be another option, which is going to have some merch, like a t-shirt and some stickers and probably something else. And all that's going to be is the price of those things just added to the cost of the ticket. So that'll be the 2 options for that. I think it's going to be PayPal that we're going to use to purchase those for. And the other thing that we had to do is all the money from the tickets we have to turn over to the park when we get there. So we're going to make it where tickets can be refunded, but only up until the 23rd of May. So if you want to go and you buy your ticket, you have until the 23rd of May, which is 2 weeks before, because there was a minimum that we have to meet to pay the park. And so we want to make sure that we have the money all in order when we get there. So that 2 week mark, which should leave plenty of time for people to be able to decide where they're going to be able to go. But anyway, I just wanted to update everybody. It is happening. It is June 7th. It is probably time to start thinking about all those things. I'm also going to put in there about Friday night, if you get there the night before, which we are. I'm going to be calling a hotel very soon to try to get block rates at one of the hotels in Princeton, West Virginia there. So if people want to get there the night before, you're coming in off a flight the night before, whatever you have somewhere, we can all kind of be in the same floor or whatever and go out and get dinner or something the night before if you want to do that. Not required by any means. So we have that. The other thing I wanted to talk about real quick before we head out tonight is our upcoming shows.
Okay, what do we got?
Starting off the new year, we have Rob Goutreau coming on next week. He's going to be talking about Ghosts of Ireland, and he's also a pet medium.
Sweet.
So we're going to have a couple things to talk about with Rob. James Rink was rescheduled for the 16th, so he's going to be coming on to talk about super soldiers and Black government projects.
Scary.
And so that might be interesting with all the drone stuff that's going on and some of the systems.
Yeah, we can ask him.
About.
What does he know about the drones?
And the super soldier stuff is interesting because I know that might sound very sci-fi, but there's been lots of evidence that there's been things going on with.
We have a personal friend
members.
that is, yeah, that we know.
Who has connections with
about.
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Barbara Worsley is going to be coming on the 23rd of January. Who's going to be coming on to talk to us about spirituality and dragons, which is a special request from Malus. So there we go on the 23rd. And on yes. And then on the 30th, the last show of January, we're going to have Charlie Raymond on to talk about Bigfoot. And he has some new recordings that he says sound very similar to the ones that were done by our friend Ron Moorhead up in the Pacific Northwest in the 1970s.
Wow.
So more Bigfoot news. So we got lots of interesting stuff and a lot of different stuff. All kinds of going all over the map this month for our guests. So
are we
looking forward to the new year?
Do we have anything booked for February yet?
No, we're booked all the way through January. And so if you have we have a list.
I was going to say we want to have Tarto Mama on to talk about her predictions since she wasn't able to join us.
Yeah.
So maybe we should try to get Tarto Mama on the beginning of February.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So maybe reach out to her and see if she's available.
Yeah. And if anybody has like we have our list of people we're going to be contacting, but if there's someone we've had quite a few people like tell us guests they would like to have on the show. And we've been able to come.
We always reach out, whether it works out or not.
So we're having Barbara Worsley, who Luce requested, and we've had a couple other guests that have been requested through our webpage and stuff like that. So if there's someone that you've heard, read a book of theirs, or seen them on another podcast, and you're like, you know what, I would like to see them on the Witching Hours, let us know, and I can always reach out. I can't guarantee this, yes, but I can always reach out.
Yeah.
So feel free to do that. Thank you, everybody, for coming and hanging out with us tonight. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year. I hope you guys have a great New Year, even though it sounds like there's going to be some challenges this year. And I think maybe that's the word we should use, because I think there's a positive connotation to that.
Yes.
Even though this could be a challenging year, I hope everyone has a good one. And
find your lanterns. Keep rowing.
Yeah, I've got some lanterns in Discord to color.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Alyson has a lantern coloring sheet.
I need to print one
Discord. Color it. Your light. Which light are you shining out?
Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, for everyone listening at another time in another place, Happy New Year, and we will see you all next time. And for everyone who's still hanging out here in chat and Twitch and on YouTube, let's see who we have on tonight.
Kiki Cannon.
Kiki Cannon.
Blue Light Oracle. Mystic Village. Weird Paul. Quarter Square X. Playing marbles on stream. Scorpy's on.
Kiki Cannon's doing tarot.
Yep.
So let's go raid.
Let's say hi to Kiki. Sounds good to me.
That way, if anybody has any questions about the year,
you can get your personal tarot reading for the year over with Kiki, maybe. Thanks again, Sheepy, and of course, as always, thanks, Alyson Wonderland.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Alyson. It was so awesome for you to join us tonight and hang out with us.
Thanks for being here the whole time.
I always love having you on. So maybe we can we'll have to find another topic and do a show sometime again. Have you on for the show. I always enjoy it.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
All right. We're gonna go ahead and hit the raid button. You on tomorrow night, Jenny?
I think so, yeah.
All right. Well, I'll see most of you tomorrow night. Take care, everyone. Be safe.
Bye.
We'll see you all next time.
Bye. All right.